Hi Kavya, I'm Mridula. Hi. Hi Kavita. Hey Amar. Amar, could you just send me an invite? Yes, perfect. Good evening. Hi. Hi Nritya. Hey Amar, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you?
Yes, I can. Thank you so much, Amar,
Awesome.
for taking time off on a weekday to be in conversation with me. I really appreciate it. Is there some trouble with your
Yeah,
internet?
for some
Mine?
reason your signal is breaking, Akila. We have to
Okay.
check if it's,
Okay, I feel like
I
let's
don't
just
know.
ask. You're
We'll
not able
go
to hear
ahead.
me
We'll
very
see
clearly.
how this goes, and then we'll see. I'm audible, right?
Yeah, you're audible. Folks, can you just tell me if I'm audible? So, hey Nitya, could you just somebody give me? We can hear and see you properly. Okay, that's great. Okay, so Amar, thank you so much yet again. um, I'm going to really start off by, setting the premise for this conversation. Like every day for the last at least 9 months or so that I've been following you on Instagram, I'm very curious to see what's on your story. So sometimes it's about the sunrise, sometimes it's about running, sometimes it's about the act of journaling, sometimes it's about yoga, sometimes it's about a book that you've read this morning,
Akila,
or I think it
sorry,
was
really
yesterday.
sorry. I think,
You're not able to hear me? Do you want to log out, Amar, and join back? Because people say my internet is fine. Do you want to just log off and join this conversation again?
yeah, okay.
Sorry, people, just wait. Hi, Meenakshi. Okay. Yes, let's just wait for him. Yes, I'm sure he'll be back with a bang. I'm good. Thank you all for joining. I'm really looking forward to this conversation with Amar. So let's just wait for him to set his internet right and be back. Meanwhile, if you guys have any questions, feel free to. So there's a box. Hi, Anvesha. So nice to see you. If there are any questions, you can put them in the question box. I will, you know. Oh, the context of this live is just to have a chat with Amar and to talk to him about the Natyam series that he's doing and to just, celebrate the idea of a photographer who, captures beautiful images in the. Yes, Amar. I'm going to go live with you now. Hi.
Hi. Sorry.
Well, welcome back.
Sorry, I don't know what it is.
It's
I never
okay.
had this problem.
No problem.
But this is
So
good.
I was just setting the context for this interview, Amar, and I was basically telling everyone that for the last 9 months or so that I've been following you on Instagram, I'm curious to see what's on your story. So sometimes it's about the sunrise, it's about a run, sometimes it's about the act of journaling, sometimes it's about a yoga pose, sometimes it's about a book you've read this morning, or perhaps it was yesterday. It was about doing something. When is the last time you did something for the first time? And you spoke about how you conquered the Shirasasana. So I'm going to ask you a question on that. But before that, for those very few of you who don't know Amar, I'm going to quickly just run through his rather large career, but I'm going to kind of brief it down to the fact that he left a career in software to pursue his dream of becoming a photographer. His bio says he's an entrepreneur by choice and a wanderer by nature. And he's one of those who's been fortunate, and how lucky that is really, to find a purpose in his passion and make many like-minded friends along the way. He says he hasn't yet traveled the whole of Tamil Nadu and hasn't yet documented all of India's priceless heritage sites. And he hasn't yet been on a road to every part of the world. But he wants to, and is constantly looking for seekers, learners, collaborators along the way who will join him in his attempt to be a memory maker. So welcome, Amar Ramesh, and thank you so much for doing this on a weekday.
Hey, thank you so much. I'll be honest with you, I'm literally not doing anything. We're all in lockdown, so we're yet to start work. So it's
That
it's
is
it's a
true.
great thing. I always have seen and gone through Alap's work, and you do such a fabulous work. And I what I love about your thing is the energy, right? Like there's so much
Thank
content
you.
going on. There's so many lives going on. There's so many things happening. So I love that energy. So
Thank you, Amar.
it's a
That means
pleasure.
a lot. Yeah. Great. So, Amar, I'm going to first start off with a question on the Shirasasana because the world just celebrated Yoga Day yesterday. So, how did conquering that feel? And how did the world really look upside down?
Hey, actually, you know what? I grew up never thinking I've never been never been an athlete. I've never done any sports and nothing, right? Like I've always been a this plump kid growing up, not doing all these things. And also yoga is something that I've always kind of avoided because I felt that yoga is not for me. I'm a very restless guy. I am always on like running
High
on the
energy.
move
Yeah.
and super high energetic, right? And in fact, I tried so many times and gave up on it, going for a 3 day class or a 7 day class. And then I also remember once I just ran away from a class. I couldn't take it. I literally ran away from a class. And then last year things changed and we are all stuck at home. And then I wanted to pick up things that I always was avoiding, right? And then one thing I picked up was yoga. And even then I was just thinking, okay, I'll just do normal moves, just like a normal thing, right? I won't take it seriously. But as I took it up and then I was lucky enough to find an amazing trainer. I fell in love with it. I was just it was just amazing, and also I felt that there is still that restlessness in me, but there is also a calm inside
That's
with that
fine.
restlessness.
Yeah.
I fell in love with yoga, and I've been like I really want to become a yoga trainer. I want to go deep into yoga. I want to do a documentary on yoga. So
Wow.
there's so much, right? So and then eventually. And then today, randomly, we were thinking, hey, can I do headstand? And I was asking my trainer, and she was like, yes, you can. Just try it. And then I thought, okay, I'll try it. Maybe the 10th time or 11th time I'll make it. But this was the first day, and I made it. I was super duper happy.
Wow.
See, these wins, right? These small wins make you really, really um, think that okay, hey, nothing is impossible. We can do so many things. In
Yeah.
fact, my life changed when I ran my first marathon. Like I said, I was always a heavy kid, and then I
Yeah.
never thought I will run a marathon. But when I ran my first marathon, right, things changed. Everything changed for me. It was not about running. It was not about physical or mental thing. It was just I decided after my marathon, right? I can do anything in my life now. I've done my marathon. I could do anything in my life. So, in fact, I ask many people who come to me, I tell them, hey, go run a marathon. This will change your life.
Wow. Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
so like that, today, the Sirasasan just changed my life.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
just told me that, oh, I can do impossible things.
Yeah. No, Amar, I'm curious really about, do you are so inherently positive and that comes through in literally like everything that you do. But I'm curious that do positive people also attract positive people, or do you constantly just surround yourself with positive people? How does that happen?
So I think instead of saying positive people attract positive people negate the negative people. I think we don't get along with the negative people. So so
Interesting.
so we always find a way to stay away from the negative people. So I
Right.
I think that is the thing. And then I always strongly believe in the thing that you're average of the five people around you. It is very very important who you are surrounding yourself with.
Yeah.
And I've been blessed and grateful in so many ways that I have some amazing friends and I have some amazing people around me all the time, and that is why I'm here.
Yeah, but Amar, you have a close inner circle, but you also have these huge, like a large outer circle as well. That's so like cheering you and rooting. Like your tribe is really big, right? I remember I attended this really interesting workshop, and they talked about how you, find your tribe that kind of really, supports you, cheers you, and stuff. But you have a big tribe that supports you. Does that kind of egg you to sort of keep going forward?
Oh, totally, Akila. See, in many ways, right? So many people get into entrepreneurship, do business, and all that, right? One of the biggest secrets is this energy that comes from everybody saying, "Hey, Amar, you have to do really well. Hey, you did a wonderful job. You have to grow really well." That message from deep down the heart, right?
Yeah,
That is what is important, like you could make a lot of money in so many ways, but that blessing, that energy that they give,
yeah,
everybody throws at you, is
yeah,
very very important for what you do, right? And that is what takes you to the next level and next level. And that is, you can call it universe conspiring, you can call it blessing, you can call it
yeah.
energy, but that goodwill is very very important, I feel.
Yeah, absolutely. Amar, I also want to ask you a question now about. Yeah, okay. We'll talk about the not so good things as well. But yeah, I want to ask you a little bit about. You're an entrepreneur by choice and a wanderer by nature. Has in a certain way, like entrepreneurship, allowed you the privilege and luxury to also wander?
Um, so I have to go back a little bit into my life's journey to answer this question, Attila, because see, I grew up wanting to be an engineer, and then I was always fascinated about computers. I wanted to do something in computers, and I studied for that, and then I did my engineering, and then went to use to do my masters, and then found a job in IT. I was doing everything that I planned and everything that I wanted to do, right? And
Right.
then like 6 or 7 years into my job, I realized, oh, this is actually not what I want to
Yeah,
do.
what I want.
This is not me, right? There was everything. I was paid really, really well. I was in a very good job, no stress. All I had to do was just show up and design something, and then I'm done for the day. Um, and um, um, and my house was just literally 2 minutes from the office. Everything was perfect,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
There was nothing to complain.
Complain.
But there was deep down, there was something that is telling me, hey, this is not what you're meant for,
Yeah,
and this is not what you have to do. And also in those 7 8 years in US, I traveled a lot, and then I realized how amazing our country is. How we
yeah.
didn't value anything when I was here, right?
Yeah.
So I told myself, okay, I am gonna try something. I'm gonna quit. I'm gonna go travel across India and make content for India. Like I want to package India in a very very different way. That's what I decided upon, right? Even
Right,
before I decided that I want to become an entrepreneur, I decided I wanted to be a wanderer.
right.
I was ready for a vagabondish life. I was ready for giving up this high salaried job. I decided I'll be running a very normal middle class life, coming back here, and so I decided that I'll be a wanderer, right? So then I came to India. I wanted to be a travel photographer. I want to go shoot all the monuments in India and all that. then so many things changed. I became an entrepreneur. Business came in, and a lot of things changed. I
Yeah.
did really well for myself. But then I've always been a wanderer. Like even from the first trip that I went for my business to Hyderabad in like 2010, I was so restless to go find out what are the things in Hyderabad, like
Yeah.
what are the spots, right? Even now, wherever I'm traveling, I take that extra day, or I get up early in the morning, go travel, meet people. I've always been this seeker and
Speaker.
wanderer, right? Like I want to go find new
Yeah.
experiences, new things to eat, new
Correct.
people to meet, and also in a way that my job is innately the nature of the job itself is
Self-respect.
traveling.
Yeah.
Yeah, traveling, right? But then there are so many photographers who travel like me, and also so many people, like so many of my friends who are in IT or finance and all that, they also travel.
Yeah. Travel.
But one thing that is amazing about this job is we travel to scout locations. We travel to find out new location. We travel to go to this beautiful location. I have many of my friends who travel, just attend conferences and come back.
Don't
They
even
just
get
go
to
to a
go there.
hotel and yeah. So that is there. But even then, how many photographers do this? Is something I always, even many of my team members, what they do is they just go relax. If they have an extra day, they just while away their time in the hotels and
Yeah.
all that, right? I've always been, even now, go find out new things. And also, it is not traveling for me. It is more like a seeking experience for me.
Exploration.
It's more of not traveling outside. It is more traveling inwards. Everywhere I go, I find new things. I see how can I take this and collaborate it with something else that I have. How can I make use of this? How can I work on this thing? So this is like, for example, I went to Kumbakonam. I saw these doors of Santanam, and then I decided, okay, how can I use Santanam's doors with something else, right? So that
Yeah.
happens only.
Did I lose you? Okay. I think his video is stuck, right? Can someone just tell me if his video is stuck, or am I the only one who's not able to hear him? Sorry. We'll just wait for him to come back. Yeah, he'll be back. Yeah, I think his network is giving him some trouble today.
Hi, Akila. Sorry.
Hi. No worries.
Yeah. So that's how I've been. Like, so I Wanderer was my choice, and then entrepreneur was the next thing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I want to ask you, Amar, like when you told me that by virtue of wandering, I'm sure you explore and you discover and you see so many new things, right? When you look at things, are you always looking at it through the lens of a photographer?
No, not really, Akila. See, I'm a photographer today. I was an IT guy 10 years
Hmm.
back, and then
Yeah.
10 years from now, I don't know what I'll be. Right? We don't know what we'll be. You did you really think that you'll be running Alap 5
No,
years
never.
back? So it is more like, even now, the more I work on my photography, the also I'm equally or more working on the person that I am, right? And if that person becomes better, if that Amar Ramesh becomes better, if that Amar Ramesh goes through a lot of experiences, if that Amar Ramesh reads a lot of things, then you would definitely become a better photographer, better farmer, better IT guy, whatever it is,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So we have to work on that
yeah,
self, right?
yeah,
And that is what I do.
Yeah.
I don't. I'm not only seeing that as a photographer. I'm seeing as a
Yeah.
farmer. I'm seeing as a guy who's experiencing
Yeah.
experiencing life as a whole. And I strongly believe there is so much beauty out there, right?
Oh,
You just have to soak into that beauty and take all that of in.
oh, absolutely.
So that's what I do.
Yeah, yeah. But I think wandering also is like a sort of a, it's like a work in progress, right, Amar? It never stops. You're constantly, once a wanderer, always a wanderer, right?
True, and also it's very tough to explain this to many people, right? So last week I was in Hyderabad. I was shooting a wedding, and then there was this gap day. So I went and found out this very old temple, which was like 400, 500 years old. It's just an hour from the city.
Right.
And I went and I sat there for a couple of hours. I didn't do anything. I just didn't go pray or I didn't photograph or nothing. I
Right.
just went and sat there for some time. It was a beautiful sunrise. It was a beautiful day with natural sounds and all that. It was amazing. So how many of my friends will acknowledge or like it? They will say, "Hey, bore adi, kalamnada." So it won't. I don't know. I just enjoy it. I shoot a lot of temples. I've spent a lot of time in in temples. I've spent I will just go there for sunrise and then stay there the entire day and then shoot sunset and come back.
Beautiful.
And I've loved those things. Right. It is the experiences that are happening in a temple. You can observe so many things. You can observe how the people react, how people are, like very pious, asking something in front of the God.
Yeah.
There's so many reactions, so many things happening. A kid coming for his birthday with chocolates, um, having a morning darshan. So many nice things happen, right? So
Yeah.
you just have
The
to
energy, right? Yeah.
experience that. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
yeah.
Obviously, Amar, also the sunrise fascinates you clearly, right? I mean, you talk about how, like, I mean, a friend of mine also used to say that God is really he would say that, but like you also talk about how every day, God paints like a different picture in the sky and is like the best art director in some sense. So I know that you're truly fascinated with like waking up early and catching a glimpse of the sun.
Oh, I absolutely love it. And as a photographer, I watch so many sunrises and so many sunsets, and literally I can't even count the number of sunrises I've watched. And I'm a person who wants to watch sunrise every day. Um, in fact, even if I'm sick, even if I'm tired and not doing anything, even if I'm catching a international flight and just landing at 3 a.m. or something, I just go directly to Marina and watch the sunrise and then go home.
Sunrise.
So for me, sunrise is such a powerful energy. It's like a miracle morning. Just imagine nobody else could be more creative than nature, right? So like just last week when I was running, I saw this palm tree with so many nests by birds, and then these nests are so nicely tailored. In It's just amazing. It's an engineering marvel, right? To think
Oh,
about it,
absolutely.
and the birds do that in like 2 3 days or a couple of hours even. So there's so much that you can take from that, and I always say there is somebody sitting there and saying, "Hey, okay, what shall we paint today? Oh, let's throw some
I
gray, let's
know.
throw some purple, let's throw some,
Fantastic.
fiery orange today." Right? And how
Brilliant.
is it so unique every day?
Every day,
Like
right?
every day, right? Then you think about creative rut. Then you think about all this. Oh, I'm block. I have a creative block. Right? You see that?
Seems like a joke.
Yeah. So it inspires me in so many ways. It gives me a
It's a
lot of
humbling
energy.
experience, really. Yeah.
Yeah, and also it's a time where I get a lot of ideas, and it's a time where my body is in motion, and when your body is in motion, you get so many ideas in your mind.
Right.
So I love to see it. Yeah,
Right.
it's I call it the miracle morning, and I definitely love to use it
Yeah.
day in and day out.
Amar, I want to ask you a little bit about, you've been photographing artists, performing artists for a while now. I want to ask you that when did you kind of decide that you wanted to start shooting performing artists? And would you think that as a photographer, like artists have a different kind of an energy, like a different kind of a personality, and how do you manage to capture that personality through the lens?
Um, so when did I decide? I decided very early. In fact, my first dance shoot, Bharatanatyam shoot, was in 2011. Mm. And after that, I've been shooting a lot of Bharatanatyam Arangetrams. I've shot Arangetrams in UK, Sri Lanka, Malaysia, Singapore, um, and I've enjoyed shooting Bharatanatyam, right? And see why I'm doing it. See, why am I a photographer, right? I feel I'm a photographer because it's easy. I can just pick it up. Anybody can pick up a camera today and become a photographer tomorrow. Oh well, either like they're good or bad, we don't know.
Yeah.
But you can become a photographer.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
tomorrow, you can. If you decide tomorrow, you're a photographer because
Yeah.
cameras have become so accessible. There's no
Absolutely.
entry barrier.
Correct.
Not only photography, so many other titles like
Things
that.
have, yeah, it's a democracy sort of, yeah.
But some art forms you cannot do that. Like, can you become a Bharatanatyam dancer tomorrow? No, I cannot become a Bharatanatyam dancer tomorrow. I have to have like
Neither can
years and years and years and decades of practice. Can I become a Carnatic singer tomorrow? No, I cannot become a Carnatic singer tomorrow, right? And all these. So that is one thing, right? So I have a huge respect for people who are in these art forms,
we.
because they have given their lives, given their energy, so much of practice and all this, right? So the
Years
next
of
thing, yeah. So that needs a lot of grit, right? And then the next thing is every photographer out there. I know there are millions of photographers out there. What do they do? If they want to do something in photography, they go pick up their friends or models or boys or girls and get them, shoot them, and put some pretty pictures out there, and then and then there is a photography business, and there's a photography page, right?
Right.
So yeah, millions of people are doing this. Why should I do this, right? Can I give pictures for people who like totally deserve because they've done something amazing in their art form, and and innately they're doing something very beautiful that is very Indian, very there's so much culture in it. There is so many things in it. Can I give them some amazing portraits that they'll relish for
Yeah.
years to come? So
Long
that is
time.
the
Yeah.
idea, right? Every photographer is going one direction. Can I go in the opposite direction? Can
Yeah.
I go in a different direction?
Yeah.
So all these, a little bit of a lot of love, a lot of being unique, and a little bit of anger. Why everybody is doing the same thing? Let me do something else, right? So
Yeah.
all this mixed together, I try to work with a lot of artists. I try to work with Carnatic musicians, Bharatanatyam dancers, all type of classical dancers, and then lots of folk artists, right? I want to do lots and lots of series with folk artists. In fact, I'm working on a project now which will be very interesting when it comes out, um, um, with folk artists.
Fantastic.
So yeah,
Yeah.
and the thing is, see, through my work, can I start a conversation around this? Like I did a series on Terukutu, and then Terukutu is a word that my North Indian friends started talking about, right?
Correct.
My international friends and photographers started knowing about that form, right? So
Yeah.
I'm just starting a conversation to people who have not seen it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Even there are so many things in Tamil Nadu that outside Tamil Nadu people don't know. We just take it for granted, but just Chettinad
Yeah.
alone, imagine Nakala, just Chettinad
Yeah.
alone has so many things.
My God.
Like
Yeah.
Like I need 7
Pleasure
lives
true. Yeah.
to cover things in Chettinad alone.
Self is, yeah.
Chettinad door is a story by itself.
Yeah.
Tiles are a story by itself. Walls are a story by itself. The wood work is a story by itself, right? So there's so many things.
That's true.
It has to be told to the world. It has to be packaged in a nice way. It has to be packaged in a world class level. That is what I do.
Right. Amar, they say that every photo has a story. So when you shoot your subjects, right? I mean, you've shot like all the, well-known musicians and dancers, musicians especially, right from T.M. Krishna to Bombay Jayashree to Ranjini Gayatri to a whole bunch of young musicians. I want to ask you, what's the kind of research that goes in before you kind of, start shooting them in a way that somehow when you shoot, when I see, like recently we used a picture of yours for a story that I did on TM Krishna for India Today, and it was like it seemed to me like you know his personality and you'd managed to capture it in a certain way. So I want to ask you, what is the kind of background work that you do, or how do you kind of to use a workout context, how do you kind of warm up with your subjects, and how do you let them warm up and then sort of make that image so personal?
I don't take myself so seriously, Akila. Okay, so the first thing is I'm not doing a lot of research.
Okay.
In fact, I have zero. Like I'm a not jnana sunyam in
That's
in
an honest
classical
confession.
in classical music. I don't know. I just enjoy it. Like I have been to some concerts where I really lost myself and I really enjoyed it. But do I know
Yeah.
anything about it? No. See, from first thing is ignorance is bliss.
Yeah.
I want to use that, right? I'm not saying it just for
Yeah, yeah,
sake
yeah.
of saying it, but
Yeah.
I really love it. Okay. Next thing is I don't believe in the persona that your social media puts out, your online articles puts out. I don't know. I don't. That is not the persona that they really are most of the time, right? I want the persona where I am sitting with the camera and I'm interacting with them and I see what you are is the response that you give to me. How you respond to me is what you are to me, right? And that is what my subjects are to me, right? The people who I shoot, how they respond to me, and in fact, you'll be amazed to see the session that happens with me. What happens is, see, I'll take the example of this 50 women portraits that I do,
Yeah,
right?
that's right.
Many of the women who came were all busy, super busy people. They're into so many things. They like it was a common trait that happened for 2 3 days because I was shooting every day, and 2 3 days what happened is everybody who came in said, "Hey, 2 minutes time, 2 minutes. I'll just show up. You have to click and I leave, right?" They'll come like that, but they'll end up staying for 4 hours, 5 hours, and then becoming lifelong friends.
Correct.
Right?
Indeed.
So it is that, see, I'm as a photographer, I want to give you the real you. When you see the picture, you should not see somebody else, you should see
Yes.
you. When I make
Authentic.
that happen to you, right, like when I show the real you to yourself, that is when I have won as a photographer, and that is what I try to do with my people, right? And many of them have come back and said, "Hey, this is me, Amar, this is really me. I'm
Yeah.
seeing myself in it."
Yeah, that's the
So to
best.
give that, right, I have to be in conversation with them even before I take the picture, and I have to see how they respond to me, they respond to this whole thing. It's very philosophical, Akila, for me. It's very like mental.
No, I can totally understand. Yeah.
uh, and also see, especially with musicians and artists, right? It's a great thing. Just imagine a Bombay Jayashree or a Ranjini Gayatri performing for you in front of you, and you're the only audience.
Oh, amazing, no?
Right? It takes you to this very different world.
Yeah.
And then I take that all in, and then I do the portraits, and and that's why they come out the way they are. Um,
Beautiful.
I really enjoyed shooting all the artists. It's
No.
a great experience. I cannot put that in words.
Yeah. No.
Every subject or every project that I take it because I really want to do it. I'm super passionate about doing it, and I really want to do it. And then the process itself is the journey for me.
Yeah.
It's not it's not the output. It's not the
Yeah.
pictures that I make. The process of making the picture itself is a journey, and I thoroughly enjoy that.
No, it's almost like the arts itself, right? If you ask an artist, then they will say that the process is as important as the final, the performance or the production, right? So I think in many
Yeah.
ways, I suppose the processes are similar. So I want to ask you, Amar, a little bit about the Natyam series. What has it been like for you to, photograph dancers? That too, like, I know, I want to firstly ask you about what is the inspiration for the Natyam series?
Oh, inspiration is beauty. It's just beautiful, so beautiful. How are these dancers so? There's so much grace. There is so much. I have no idea what Bharatanatyam, right? I have no idea. I've just seen it as a viewer.
Yeah, of course.
I just see the grace in it. I see the beauty in it. I see the colors in it. I see the drama in it. I see the poses. For me, it is that, right? But that itself is just amazing. I'm just wondering what all they are going through with the art form, right? I only taste the part of it,
Yeah,
and that itself is so good. And you put them wherever the frame becomes beautiful,
yeah, yeah.
right?
That's true.
And
I'm sure dancers are
what
listening here. Yeah,
what more do I need, right? And I see I see such an art form, and I see the pictures for these art form, and then you're like, oh, there is a flex behind, there is this dark background, there is this harsh lighting, and all that, right? Then I decided, what the hell, I have to show this world how Bharatanatyam should be shown,
really.
right? And I'm going to do a series. I'm going to do a long-term, lifelong series where I'm going to take Bharatanatyam into to places where you don't generally think about
Yeah,
Bharatanatyam.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I've shot in Iceland. Um, I've shot in so many different places. I have so many different um, geography and so many different conditions that I want to shoot Bharatanatyam in, and that's the inspiration behind it. I want to show Bharatanatyam like it was not never seen before,
Also in spaces that it hasn't been seen before,
seen
right?
before. Yeah.
Right. I remember this this one question that I want to ask you before I move on is how important is the surrounding and the ambience, Amar, for you when you place your subject? Is ambience always crucial, or is it especially crucial in the Natyam series?
Um, so, see, it depends on what the theme is, right? For me, Natya is something where the theme of Natya is okay, taking Bharatanatyam to places where it is not being taken to or shown in. So then ambience become an important thing for me.
Important. Yeah.
Shooting women portraits is where I want to show women as who they are without any fashion or bling or anything else. I just want to show it in black and white, just who they are, who they really are. Shooting musicians is okay. They have a grace, they have this amazing thing that they are doing. How can I show them differently? How can I give them a portrait that they can keep it for life,
Forever.
right?
Yeah.
So that is so it depends. It depends what the theme that I'm looking for.
Right.
Right? I shot Terukuthu artist where Terukuthu is generally seen in the on the roads and are in
Correct.
bad lighting and stuff, right? What I give them sophisticated lighting, what I showed them
Yeah.
in a way that they were not seen before. So
Right.
what I showed them in a world class manner. So that is when I do. So it depends on the theme, and it depends on where I'm shooting them.
Right. So it's also about what happens when you shift pace and location. and also what happens to the artist itself and what happens to the viewer as well, right? When we perceive, say for example, your recent one was with Jay Koheni at Chettinad, right?
Yeah.
And you know, and for me it was about like the dance and the detailing both sort of stood out like equally, right? But I want to ask you, and maybe I should ask the dancer this, but what happens to the dancer in that process? Like, have they shared something with you? Like, I know that you shot Simran Shivkumar on the beach, right? There was a series that you did with her on the beach. So I'm curious about what happens. um how does their art itself sort of shift?
Um, I can't talk for everyone, but there were experiences where, especially with musicians, there were experiences where it was very spiritual experience where they're singing. They're like one of the things I asked them to do is to perform their own favorite song.
Right.
Just I want to see how they perform,
Yeah.
and then they go into a zone, right? And then
Trance.
I am listening to that music and I'm listening to that sound,
Yeah.
and then I am getting into a zone, and then
Yeah.
there is a connection that happens through this tool
Right.
that is the camera, right?
Right.
And I'm not saying this just for the heck of saying in front of a camera or
Right.
Instagram live, but this is what happens. I go through that magical experience, and then we become one. The
Yeah.
photographer, the artist, the camera, everything becomes one,
Yeah.
and then the output comes out. So yes, that happens. And a lot of times the Terracotta art, like for example, Bomalatam artists or Terracotta artists, they have said, hey, nobody has seen us, shown us like this, right? It is a very different experience for
Yeah.
us.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah, and even with the Simran's case, um, just without the camera, just looking at her next to this door on a sunrise was so beautiful. I could just sit there and watch her dance all day. It was so beautiful just for the eyes, right? So so it's different for different people and it's different for different artists, and but it is always very um, spiritual for me, and it is always very like I can say, what is true happiness, right? For me, true happiness is those flow moments when every cell of your body becomes that smiley, right? And then gives that nice emoticon, that's nice smiley emoticon.
Yeah.
That's how my body feels when I go through moments like that, and then I get that many times when I do the shoot.
Yeah, fantastic. Aman, I just want to kind of quickly wrap with a couple of things, which is one is really about, the role of nature in your, in the work that you talk a lot about nature. And I'm curious about how nature sort of is a sort of recurring motif in your work.
Um, So it is a very important element. I don't know how did you grasp it through my Instagram stories and all that, but it is a very important reason behind my creativity, behind the person that I am. Um, and also, see, in the last 3 4 years, I've got into farming. Right, I do a lot of farming activities. I have a farm.
Right.
I get involved like physically into
Yeah.
it, right? And I've also realized by doing that I've become more creative. I'm becoming more. I'm picking up things from different domain and mixing them together and coming up with something different, right? Um, and I learned somewhere, I read somewhere that when you use your hands and get into
Ah,
dirt and do things, right, like pottery, like farming, like agriculture, you actually become scientifically also you looks like you become creative. Your
yeah.
creative
Yeah.
juices, starts to flow more.
Yeah.
And I to this activity that I'm doing. It could be gardening, it could be
Yeah.
farming, it could be other things, right? Use your
Amar,
hands and do
that's
something
why
with
they
your
encourage
hands.
children to use their hands. they encourage
Yeah.
children when they're growing up to use their hands, because the more they get their hands dirty, the more creative they get. Yeah. Sorry, I just wanted to add
True,
that point.
very true.
Yeah.
And also nature is a great teacher, Akila. There is so much that you learn every day, and then you are like, oh my God, such a basic thing I didn't know for so long, right?
Yeah.
Every day you go through experiences, and it's like, oh my God, I've never seen this. See, last week was the first time I saw a tamarind tree flower for the first time in my life. Tamarind as a flower. And have you seen this flower? It's so beautiful. It's so pretty and it's so photogenic. I can literally use that for any of my food pictures and it'll look great. And I saw that first time in my life. Yeah, just 3 days ago. So every day there is this new thing, the new learnings,
Yeah.
and it has a great influence in my work.
No, absolutely. Amar, I just want to ask you a little bit about your journaling and about your library, both of which I've been very, very curious about.
Oh, that's another very passionate project for me. Um, the library, right? So why did I do it? First, I've fallen in love with books after this, like last 5 6 years of reading a lot of books and going through a lot of books. And second is see, kids who are growing in Western countries have this advantage of going to a library, huge libraries.
Public.
And yes,
Yeah.
we also have public libraries. I visited to Anna Public Library. It's an amazing library, right? But how many people are doing it, and how many of us have this culture of going to a library
Actually
and
going
doing
to
it,
library.
right? So that is first thing, and then the next thing is um, see, we in the last 5 6 years, we are growing into a culture where we get all our news, all our friendships, all our emails, everything is in one tool, that is Instagram,
Correct.
right? So if you go to the photographers who are just starting this journey, and ask them who are their favorite photographers, they'll basically tell 3 or 4 names who are influential in Instagram. That's it. That is their world. They
Yeah.
don't know about like they don't know about this very popular name that you ought to know. That is, you must know those names, right? They won't know
Yeah.
those names because they are not in Instagram. um, so I was like, oh my God, what is this? People have to get out of this, and people have to go see real work. People have to go see the work that took 10 years to do, 30 years to do, 5 years to do, and not this one picture wonder, which is Instagram, right? So I want to show them that those works. Oh, how can I do it? Okay, let's do a library. Now, I cannot obviously afford to buy everything that on my own. So I just asked people to donate books. And
Okay.
you know what? More than 300 people donated a book.
Wow.
Yeah, I just asked people, and more than 300 people, and they just didn't donate random books. They picked the books from our wish list. We had a wish
Okay.
list. We
Okay.
send them the wish list, and they pick one book and they donate. So
Then.
every book will have a seal donated by so and so and their Instagram
Okay.
profile, right?
Oh.
So it's and so many kids before the Corona time, right? So many kids come, sit, prepare for their exams in the library. They go through books, they go through inspiration. So many people started visiting our library, and it is listed as one of the public libraries in Chennai.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. Now we have 600 books, and my goal is to take it to 6,000, and then one day 60,000 books.
Oh, wow. I mean,
Yeah,
I have visited. I'm hoping for the lockdown to kind of, I
definitely you
would love
should.
to. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And
Yeah.
what was the second question? About
Journaling.
journaling, right? Oh my God. Uh, you know what? We have to get our kids into journaling. Mm,
You know, right?
the next generation should do yoga and journaling. Two things.
Two things.
Uh,
I
right?
can't agree.
So what's happening is we are waking up to the highlights of people's life,
Oh,
right? When
you
we
said it.
see when we see a test match, it is not at all interesting. And when we see the highlights of that same match, it is so interesting. And everybody's life is so interesting. Everybody is traveling somewhere and all that. And then you wake up to this emptiness, saying that, oh my God, what am I doing? What am I doing in my life? But you have so many things that millions of other people are longing for, right? And but you're not celebrating that. So journaling has helped me live more with more gratitude, with more happiness, and start the day in a very different note. You just start the day with a gratitude, with a sense of gratitude. Your day is so different, so different. And also, as an entrepreneur, as a person who is into multiple things, it has also helped me in managing my time well, planning my day well. All it takes is just 5 minutes, and the dynamics of the day changes entirely. I can clearly differentiate the days that I journal and
Exactly.
differentiate the days that I don't journal. So journaling is something that people should pick up. I love journaling so much that I have designed a journal myself,
I know,
and
yeah.
it's on sale. But I, I don't. People could buy that, or people could buy any type of
That's,
journal, or just pick up a notebook.
and
Right? Just pick up a notebook and put down things. And another important thing that I want to quickly talk about is time boxing. Box your time, right? Don't do to-do list. Just box your time, saying that, hey, this time of the day I'm going to do this particular thing. This time of the day I'm going to do this particular thing. To-do list doesn't work, because at the end of the day, what happens is you don't finish all your to-dos, and then you go to bed saying that, hey, why am I not completing my task? You always
yeah,
have this feeling of you're
yeah,
not
not
worth
being
it.
able to check.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. You always have this feeling of when. Just imagine how it will be to go to bed every day feeling, hey, you're not worth it. You're not completed this,
yeah,
right?
horrible,
But
right?
rather, if you box the time, say 9 to 10, I'm going to tell myself that I'm going to do this, and go to bed saying that, hey, I promised to do this. I might not have finished it, but I promised to work on this, and I worked on it. That's a win, right?
Yeah,
So
definitely.
go with that feeling, then it's totally different. So journaling has helped me a lot. And if you guys want to check out more information on the library, it is evolve
Yeah.
library. That is the Instagram profile. If you want to check out more about the journal, it is evolve journal at being sold at the Positive Store. um, and I also have a channel called Discover Tamil Nadu, where I put all the pictures of Tamil Nadu that I've shot.
Right.
I have a collection of Tamil Nadu pictures. So that is another thing that people can go look at it.
Lovely. Amar, I mean, it's going to be very difficult for me to go to bed because I'm like so wired right now. I'm like, just as you're telling me, I'm thinking like, okay, am I doing this boxing my thing, or am I doing the to-do lists? Like and am I like journaling enough? I mean, this is like just put me in like a very, very high energy zone. In many ways, I'm also one of those hyperactive sorts. So it's going to be really tough for me to like catch my sleep. But I totally appreciate you taking time off. I mean, I know that we're all relatively, we're not going out, so we're relatively in a sort of calmer space. But I think we're all also like, inherently also become suddenly so busy. I don't know doing what. So anyway, thank you for, taking time off, sharing so many fascinating insights, personal stories, and also inspiring and energetic. So thank you so much, Amar, and thank you to every single person who watched. Thank you, Janki. It was really, really a very interesting conversation. I'm glad, and I hope that we're going to see more and more, beautiful images from you that celebrate our culture and our tradition and our dance and our dancers. Thank you so much, Amar,
Hey,
and
thank you.
good night.
It's been a pleasure, and thank you so much, everyone, for patiently going through all my rant. It's been a pleasure. Thanks.
Thank you. Bye
Bye.
bye.